Good morning, everyone. So this is our chart for Wednesday, November 8th, but at 1:30 a.m. Pacific time, we have Venus moving into Libra. So this will be a good, probably couple of months of having more unity consciousness. With Venus, she is the planet of unity consciousness, and then Libra is so much of a bridge towards unity consciousness. So, wow, amazing. We have the moon in, now if you want more details about this, the whole, Wednesday with everything, just go to, of course, go to the weekly astrological video that I do, and I do have the timestamps in there. But for today, I'm just going to focus in on the moon in this aspect of the architect between, so this is a building aspect between the moon in Virgo and then up to Mars in Scorpio. You can see how it's exact there. And we could say, the whole 9 yards up here in Scorpio, because it's when we have a conjunction like that, the energies all merge together. So the Sun, Mars, and Mercury is all about going deep in our conversations with ourselves and with others, and with our ability to transform. And then with the moon, we will be emotionally wanting to get somewhere, and so that we can integrate something, integrate a life lesson. And with the trine over to Uranus, it can help us break free. There can be some real breaking free. Okay, so the cards, let me bring this up a little bit. There we go. I'm using the Light Seers Tarot. And I'll show you the artwork upright when I get there too. Or actually, maybe I should show you now. This is a deck that Chris Ann Donnelly created that is very true to the Rider-Waite, and it's one of those decks that you can read out of the box, right? All you have to do is just look at what the people are doing. So we have the Queen of Cups, King of Cups, Knight of Wands. That's a lot of emotional energy, but with the Queen of Cups, it's all about honoring all that is sacred. It's about being in that flow of just, that bottom line, knowing who you are. The Queen of Cups is one of my most psychic cards. She's all about nurturing. She has everything to do with healing. She's very warm, very, like I was saying, psychic. And then with the King of Cups, when it's upright, it's about emotional intelligence and, and a lot of times these people are teachers or helpers or, people in the helping professions who really care. But he came through reversed. So this, I feel, has something to do with being emotionally manipulated in the past. And it, doesn't have to be specific to gender at all. It's just that the queens are receptive. The kings are of the air quality. Queens, no matter what element they come through in, they are of, receptive, like water energy first and then the element. She's a double dose of water. So very, very receptive. And if you can trust your feelings, trust your spidey senses, trust your intuition, and you can stay in that flow, you trust your empathic sensory perceptions as well. That was like redundant 3 times, but I don't know how else to say it to drive home the point. And then with the King of Cups, because he's of the air, it's more about strategizing with feelings. It's more about knowing that when you're in the flow, you can create, so he might be a little bit more adept in creating structure, okay? Or communication, maybe. Doesn't mean she's not as, adept in her field, but he's got that added element of air. But when it's reversed, this guy can be very manipulative. So if you grew up in a home where there was someone who was super psychic, or somehow, at least in some way psychic, but they used it against you and gaslighted you, And then, you know, that's the extreme of a King of Cups reversed. It can be abusive. It can be emotional abuse. It can be a man in your life who was very unreliable and a cheater. It can be, you know, that it was heartbreaking and it violated what was most sacred of all, which would have been your family. If you grew up in a situation like that, the Knight of Wands coming through reversed is saying, be careful of that. But also, when I get the Knight of Wands reversed in personal readings, I always have a question around addictions. So I think this is all pointing to childhood trauma. I think this is all pointing to family trauma that we are trying to free ourselves from. This has to do with dependency and codependency dynamics due to addictions, you know, and it comes up a lot when we are adults. And imagine and there are many books on the subject, but an adult child of an alcoholic. You just have to remember how hard it is when a person is little. And of course, you know, by the time you're a teenager, usually we rebel. But prior to that, we are being imprinted by all the addicts in whomever it was in our family that was addicted. We're being imprinted by their negativity. Because an addict is their daily routine is pretty much for themselves. And maybe you had a high functioning father who, you know, did really well during the day, but then came home and just pounded it back. And then wasn't present, you know. So good for providing, putting a roof over your head and getting all that done. But for an emotional connection with a King of Cups reversed, you would not have that. And that would set the imprint for your relationships with men growing up, of course. That's how it goes, right? And we could play around with it another way. We could say the dad was the stable one, was emotionally present, but the mom wasn't. And she was, let's just call her an energy whore. She just sucked up all the energy in the family. And then again, maybe she was fine in the mornings, or maybe she was fine when you were little, and then around 9 or 10 she started drinking like crazy and you lost her. So there's so many facets of the healing process to get out from under those codependency dynamics. And you know, we always tend to marry our parents if we don't work it out first. So if you grow up and get a divorce, that's actually a really good thing. So I'm going to read them all upright so you can get the best out of the cards. Honoring all that is sacred within you, trusting your intuition and what feels good to you, what makes you come alive, what makes you happy. And then know that you can organize your reality around that flow. You can create art from that flow. And you can, with the Knight of Wands upright, let's just read it as the imagery depicts. You can create from the beat of your own drum. Does not have to be according to what someone else wants, especially if they used to be addicted, and especially if they used to put you down or manipulate you to do what they wanted while they were addicted. We can just clear all that out. Let all of that go. And start over anew. I mean, the Knight of Wands, in the Rider-Waite-Smith, we have, well here, actually, I have a deck that is in order. Hold on. Let me get it real quick. Here we go. He moves forward really quickly. He has, if you can see, well here, actually, I'll just hold it up. See all those little salamanders? See the little salamanders all over his robe? That's to remind us that everything renews. Just think of how salamanders they can lose their tail and they'll just grow a new one. So your power's within and you move forward that way. Have the strength to move forward that way. So, okay, that's it. Okay, take good care, you guys. Have a good day. Let me know how you're doing. Bye.